Well, what are you talking about on that?
It's down something in the under other. We're on. Thank you, Wayne. Greetings, everybody. Happy New Year from the Easton Planning and Zoning Board. And welcome to our regular meeting, first of the year, Monday, January 14th, 2019. As always, or as usual, we are going out via ECAT Live tonight. And so, not that there's anybody here in the audience, but we have received a request for continuance of Lincoln Estates 2 to our February 11th meeting. Anybody would care to make a motion on that?
I'll make a motion. So moved. Heather.
Is there a second?
Second.
Any further discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor? Motion passes. All right, next up is a continued public hearing for Barron Estates, 71 Mill Street, for modification to a previously approved plan. And I know Charlie, Member Malo will be recusing himself.
Is Chris going to be acting as a voting member, or is he alternate?
He's a voting member, but he won't be for this one. Just be the three of us voting.
Yeah.
Because he hasn't, because you don't have to leave.
No, I don't.
Okay.
I don't plan on leaving.
Oh, I thought you were going this way. I'm like,
I was just because he didn't vote on the last.
Right. No,
motion,
right.
So I was just.
Yeah, Chris will not be voting on this as he's our new member. I was going to give the introduction. Oh, anyway.
Okay.
All right. No tripod.
I can put it up. I
That's
think.
okay.
Well, we have
Wayne,
it
you
up
okay?
here, so.
Yeah, does that go to TV?
Yes.
Oh, okay. Oh, then why are we always worried about positioning? Anyways, go ahead. I'm
I
sorry.
brought it just in case. So
Good,
it was gonna be
good.
up there.
Sure.
For the record, my name is Lucas Klim from Klim Land Surveying, representing KLK Enterprises. Last time we were here with this subdivision, we were bringing back the original subdivision, the original 28-lot subdivision that was approved. Subsequently, it was cut down to a 25-lot subdivision because of things in Mansfield and thus. And then we attempted to bring back that 28-lot subdivision when we found a couple discrepancies with upland areas, things like that. So what I ended up doing was starting from scratch at lot 1, and I redesigned the lots around the entire road, leaving the road as is, ensuring frontage, width, depth, area, all such. Net result is we are down to 26 lots. So because of the areas and the way things worked on the road, we're at a net 26. So we're still up 1 from the 25, but down 2 from the 28. Take any questions?
Stephanie?
The only comment that I have, and I did talk to Mr. O'Shaughnessy today, in fact, they have all the frontage, they have all the area that's required, they have the 100-foot width to a depth of 100 feet on all the lots. There are 4 of the lots around the cul-de-sacs do have street lines. They have side lot lines coming off the street, so you can see right here and right here that are less than 75 degrees. The board may waive that requirement where the side lot line intersects with a cul-de-sac. So you have one here, and then, let's see, where's the other? And then this lot, these 2 right here.
So is it where the lines intersect the curve? Is that
Yes.
the intention? Yeah.
Yes, that you get less than a 75-degree angle.
I think they put that provision for the waiver in there too because it's
On the
tough.
cul-de-sac.
What do you go 75 from? A tangent to the
Right.
circle or something
Yeah,
like that. So.
We've waived it several times,
Yes.
usually at cul-de-sacs for that
Yes.
very reason.
Well,
Well,
yeah,
and that's where it's allowed. The waiver is allowed at
Right,
cul-de-sacs. So, and then just a note, which I didn't put in my report, but I appreciated this. I don't think where you have the lots that are intersecting with Mansfield, and their intent is to construct under the change in the zoning bylaw. They do indicate the eastern portion is not a buildable lot. I appreciated that because I presume that the intention is when it goes to the building inspector, based on the change in the zoning bylaw, he will make a determination that as long as you're including that land in Mansfield, that the lot complies. However, if anything happened and you lost that land
Mansfield.
in Mansfield, the plan wouldn't indicate that it's a or wouldn't give the perception that those lots were buildable, when in fact they wouldn't be without the land that crosses over into Mansfield.
I have one other comment. I had to make 2 tiny revisions to this. I had to add a box for Mansfield to sign on sheet 5. I had forgot that, so I added that. And like a couple of the parcels were mislabeled, I had it parcel 13A and B, and one of them said 14A and B, so I just had to change a couple labels. So when I did that, I did make that note that where it says, say, lot 16, I put right under it, parcel 16A plus parcel 16B, so that it would be very clear to whoever's approving this permit. It's
And
on,
where- so where-
Is that
it's on this plan set here.
It's on
Oh,
the
so it's not
plan
on
to
the-
be
it's not on
signed,
the-
it's not on this
Yeah,
plan.
I just brought it. I caught them today, so I brought them. I can show you if you want.
Yeah, just because I didn't click follow you.
So let's say, of course, sheet one's not the one.
Oh, so it's where the property was split by the
Correct.
town
So here's the
line,
town
right.
line.
Yep.
We have a parcel 15B and a parcel 15A.
Oh, yeah,
So
I
I
see.
put right under it.
Oh, I get
15
ya.
is this, which
Yep.
is 15A plus 15B. And I think I had on one of these, like this said, say 13B rather than 14B, so I
Yeah.
added those.
And are these,
That makes
are
sense.
those only 2 lots? Like that? Or are
No,
these
it
guys
goes
too?
from
These-
10 to,
Yeah.
10 to like
We have
18. It's
several.
pretty much all of those.
So
have
you,
like a
you
little
revised
piece.
it on all of them, right?
Yep,
Okay,
yep,
gotcha.
so you can see 11B, 11A, and then 11 is both of them.
Right.
And I kind of did it for every one of these.
Right, okay, I see, okay,
Yep.
that's it, all right. Everybody understand?
Yep.
I did bring these out of my line.
All right, so Stephanie, you all,
I'm all set.
board members, have any questions or
Did
comments?
the road stay in the exact same spot as before?
Yes, road didn't change at all, drainage didn't change, nothing changed except for lot lines.
Yeah, property lines. all
And-
that.
That's it, yeah.
Right.
That's why it only has a surveyor stamp on it and not an engineer stamp.
Yeah, and just so the board knows, it kind of needed to, because the road has already been laid in.
Yep, yep, the
Right.
road's
I actually
constructed.
drove up there, so it's paved for like maybe like the first.
I would say all the way up
half, right,
to
yeah.
Cooper, where the other subdivision comes off, it's already paved up to, so.
That's all for me.
Wayne, do you have anything?
No, I think these lots look better to me.
Yeah.
Chris, since you didn't bring coffee, you won't be allowed to ask. All right, anybody want to make a motion?
Motion to approve the modified subdivision plans.
Oh, hold on just a second, we have to close the
Oh.
public hearing.
You have to
Yeah,
close
oh,
the
yeah.
public hearing.
Sorry about that. So would you like us to close the public hearing?
Do I have to make a formal request for that, to waive the cul-de-sac kind of?
The board needs to vote
Okay, on
specifically
that.
on the waiver.
Yeah, so
On the-
first what we need to do is
Yeah.
vote on closing the public hearing.
Right.
And
I'd like to
then-
request to close the public hearing.
So,
All right, I'll move to close the public hearing.
Second.
any further discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor? Motion passes. All right. So now, would someone like to make a motion? And the motion can include the waiver.
Yes, yes.
I'll make a motion to approve the modified subdivision plans, including the waiver of the lot angle at the road.
I'll second.
Get that?
Yes.
Okay, any further discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor? Motion passes 3-0. Chris did not vote because he wasn't at the outset of the hearing. All right, good luck, gentlemen. Thank you.
Just leave these here.
Yeah, we'll sign them and, all right. So next is a continued site plan review for 924 Washington Street. Now, on this one, if and when we ever vote, Chris can vote, because it's not a public hearing, right? Just site plan.
Right, it's site plan approval.
Is anybody here for this? Okay.
We get any additional documents? I guess not.
Well, I imagine you have to recuse yourself, because it looks like when you get this.
Oh, you're so fresh.
Yeah.
I'm glad I brought a smile
You're
to your
lucky
face.
I'm mic'd up.
We are ready. Chilly in here tonight.
Start a fire.
Yeah, this is the first time it's actually been cold here.
I know.
That fireplace is
For the one we
still,
just did. Oh, okay.
Yeah, that would be nice, huh?
Gotcha.
There's wood in it, there's plastic in it.
Probably some animals living in there or something. But
yeah.
So we did this.
Wonder how old that is.
Read up on variance.
Here's somebody that comes prepared, brought his own tripod.
Wayne, cue the elevator music during the setup. We like to keep our home viewers entertained.
All right. Greg Driscoll of KMK Associates, 924 Washington Street. Representing DS Ventures and Mr. David Hines here tonight. So, we just recently received comments from Woodard and Curran, the board's review engineer. I haven't had time to review, well, had time to review them and haven't had time to respond and revise the plans since we received these comments. Those are a work in progress. I believe this came out last Friday. But we did receive renderings from the building supplier, Morton Buildings, and we figured might as well get all the feedback and information so that over the next couple of weeks when we revise the plans, we can include anything to do with the building in addition to the site comments. So that being said, these are the building renderings. It's contractor bays, as you know. So pretty quick rendering that they put together. This is the front, and this is the rear of the building. This is the side facing the parking lot. This is the side facing the parking lot, basically the main front of the building, the garage doors and man doors right next to them. And then this is the back of the building. This just came in today. We uploaded on Friday a different version that didn't have the bump out in the back, but this is the current version that matches the footprint that's shown on the site plans. So, does anybody have any questions, comments on the building?
You don't
There
really
are
have
plenty.
comments, do you?
Figure might as well get the feedback now.
I think it's interesting that you're putting the grass all the way to the front of the
like
overhead
that.
doors.
Green.
I think that might be tough on
No,
the grass.
that's low impact
Although
development.
you're going to really improve the stormwater calcs.
For reference, if you want to put up the site plan, I can put that up as well.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, you know, I guess, you know, it would have, I mean, I get the supplier took 10 minutes and did this thing. But, you know, I mean, I guess one of the questions I had was, I thought, hang on, I'm waiting for this super fast computer to speed up. Here we go.
Yeah.
So, no, it's okay. So I think there's a big change in the grading, right? If I remember. So the 104 and 10. So it looks like the entrances to the parking. So there's either a 4 or 5 foot drop. This would not pixelate, I could tell, but from one end of the building to the other, there's about a 5 foot drop, it seems, at the elevation at the bottom of the overhead doors. So, so how is that? The doors are going to be, are they going to step down, or?
Yeah, we're showing curbs every once in a while here in between the units.
Right. So it's not like,
Public
and
units.
it's not going to be like shown in that rendering at all. So.
Yeah, no, it didn't make it onto the rendering.
And so, and we are site plan review, you know, it's not, we don't really have architectural review of the building. But, and the reason, and honestly, I would have, I guess it would have been easier to, you know, if the supplier just said, hey, here's a picture of a similar building. So, because I look at this, I'm like, so the gable, so the elevation facing the street's not gonna have anything on it. It's not gonna have a window, it's not gonna have any decoration. It's just gonna be a big area of
Yeah, that's kind of
aluminum
what they're showing on
or steel.
I would definitely like to do something to dress it up, like just from the street.
Yeah, I mean, I get what it is building-wise, but, you know, it's a tricky area because right across the street's a neighborhood, you know, it's houses. And 138's, this is one of the areas in 138 where usually it breaks down, it's kind of commercial for a while, and then it's residential. Here, it's right across from each other. And I get that there's an existing commercial building there, and it's, excuse me, it's a, you know, I don't know, little kind of neighborhood little thing, whatever, I don't know even how we describe it, but it's been useful. This is a lot bigger, it's a lot larger, and it's you know, it's allowed by the bylaw. But it doesn't mean, one of the things that, one of our charges at planning board, what we try to do is, while we're going through this process, not only look at making sure the drainage is right and all that, you know, just try not to, you know, this isn't an industrial area, you know, it is a neighborhood too. So that's why we were talking before about some of the landscape. We're just trying to soften it a little bit, you know what I mean? So, you know, you know, I would like to see if there's just, you know, on the front of the building, if we could just do something a little bit, you know, whatever that is.
I would like to do.
Add a couple windows. I mean, I don't want to, you know, just because I just think, I mean, you think of it, if you're traveling north on 138, that's what you're going to see, and it's a pretty large building, and we really tapped out the site here. So I just would like to, you know, see it. You know, I just hope going forward we can. You can.
I think in the landscaping, because even if you dress it up a little bit, it's still going to look like what it is.
Right.
And, you know, to soften that look to, you know, to the traffic driving by, the neighborhood, I think the landscaping, you really need it to form a buffer and more naturalize the area.
Yeah, and it'll add value to your property.
Right.
Too, you know, I mean, I'm, you know, so.
Trying to make it out like such a big box.
Yeah, I mean, well, I mean, it is what it is, right? But, you know, I mean, there's a lot. I mean, if you Googled, you know, metal industrial building, you know,
Yeah, there's,
if you Googled architecturally attractive metal industrial building, you know, I mean, you'd see some stuff.
there are some.
And there are ways to do. I mean, Hilliard's. And I'm not saying but Hilliard's. They just put up a similar type of building in terms of type of construction, but they went over it. You know, they have that old Victorian house there, and it's production in a warehouse. It's a big 2-story building, but they tried to adorn it a little bit outside to fit in. So it just, you know, that's all I'm saying. So anyways,
You know Cape Cod lumber?
I do.
That's a metal building,
Yeah.
believe it or not. And I'm not saying, you know,
Right.
not the design
I've seen
center,
some
not the design center.
Extremely nice metal
Yeah.
buildings, yes.
Actually, Hilliard's changed. It's not a metal building anymore. It's
Oh, it
actually,
is?
it's actually stick framed. Yeah.
oh, okay,
Well, stick with steel.
what's different? Yeah.
Yeah. They they changed it, budget-wise, it ended up being better to go.
Well, that's good. Shows I don't need a lot of candy. I haven't been in the parking lot. But Charlie and Judy, I do support you online still.
There's literally the similar building next door, and it will look, that's just all old siding on
Yeah.
that one, and it's gonna look, obviously, it's gonna look much better than that.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, that's right. I think you
Just
just,
my own, like marketing, that sort of thing.
yeah, I mean, that's the thing. I mean, one side, it's a bunch of doors is what it
Yeah.
is. The back side is a bunch of steel, and I get it. You don't want all windows in the building. It defeats the purpose of what it is. But if we can just dress up that front a little.
I just even think maybe like a bunch of pear trees along the back might soften that up, fill that upper space.
Yeah, landscaping, absolutely.
Yeah.
The landscape material that has been proposed, I believe, is indigenous and native, which it needs to be. The Bradford pear is not.
Okay.
So, and plus, it also is susceptible to disease and wind damage. So
Okay.
you want something that's really going to withstand our weather conditions.
Okay.
But I think the plan that was provided, you had, most of those were native species.
Black spruce, red maple, eastern redwood.
Yeah. I think the concern that I had, you have just a few large trees. You have the black spruce, but those are on the northern portion of the site to the east, where really they're not providing a buffer from the road. And, some more tall shade trees, and then maybe some larger shrubs to fill in
Okay, yeah, we got all the
buffer.
rain garden plantings in here as well,
Right.
right in front of the building. Do you think more between the rain garden and the street? Fill in here a little bit, or back, well, I got the walk right there, so.
I think the rain garden plants work well in the rain garden. Again, you
Think they're
want
tall enough
something
to
that's
help?
going to provide a buffer and some interest,
Okay.
some visual interest.
Yeah, it's your business, you know.
Yeah, I think you have a couple of
Landscaping.
river birch in there, the winterberry, which is, can be a high-growth shrub.
So the infiltration under the parking lot is for the roof,
Correct. Yep.
for that section of the roof that's hatched, is that what it is?
Yes.
Yeah. Yeah. That's a shame.
So do you have you have big changes with the peer review, or just small, just ironing out details with the peer review?
Yeah, we just got their comments, I think Friday, and we're gonna read through them. Mike Peralt is the lead design engineer on this, so I sent them to him as well, recording with him to address the comments and get everything changed on the plans and the calculations sent back over to Paul.
And what about where are we at with the abutting,
Right.
whole curb cut with the neighbors and discuss?
I talked to her today, actually, and she said, not a problem. If anyone needs to talk to her, if we need to write a letter, she'd be more than happy to.
Happy
As far
to,
as,
but-
as far as coordinating and
talking
making the
about-
changes we need to make to
Yeah.
the driveway,
Yeah.
so.
And have you
she's
talked with the
agreeable
police
to
chief, the fire chief, or the fire captain?
I did get that information that he uploaded for the truck, but no, I haven't touched base with him.
I mean, I think the way we left it at the last meeting
Okay.
was, I think, of course, I should definitely open up a discussion with the fire chief.
Right.
And you've spoken to the abutter, that's good, because we're gonna need to get something on paper.
So
Right.
she's okay with us making changes, we just gotta come up with those changes and show them to her and make sure.
Okay.
I mean, there was some conversation about being able to have the curb cut extend in front of your building or others in order to make it work, right?
Yeah, which would require an easement.
So that, yeah, that
We would have to
be an
grant
easement, right?
the neighbor an easement through Mass DOT, because if it goes past your property line, even the radius of the curve.
Yeah,
But yeah, so yeah, we're gonna come up with a design for the entrances,
Okay,
and then
so-
once we're through this process, that's when we go to Mass DOT to get their permit. They want us to get local approvals first.
Right, but all of that,
So-
we just
But
talked
you-
about,
you
we're gonna
wanna
have to
see
see
what it's
on the
gonna look
plan, so, yeah, we
Right.
should really,
Right, so.
we should have that done before you come back.
Right,
'cause
right.
that's
Yeah,
we're
pretty
gonna put all
major,
that on the
you
plan,
know?
and that's
Just-
gonna be-
Just not to waste anybody's time, you know?
Correct, yeah, we're gonna do that
Including
all
you
based
guys.
on our design direction from what Mass DOT wants. We're just not gonna have a permit from them until we get through.
How long do you think it's going to take for those conversations and then the redesign, if necessary?
When is the next meeting?
The next meeting's the 28th, and then the next meeting's the 4th of February? The 11th of February?
I would say by the 11th. We could make it, continue it to the 28th, but I may end up asking for a continuance to the following one.
Right, because if you haven't already emailed them or whatever you do, then, if you're not waiting for them to get back to you yet, then it's probably not gonna,
Yeah.
be that quick of a process.
And then we're gonna have to respond back to Paul, and then he's gonna have to review our changes. And instead of going back and forth and going to meetings in between, we should probably just have everything buttoned up.
And it's probably going to be more than just an email communication with the fire chief, or the fire captain. So that they really understand, because you don't see the building on the plan.
Right, yeah.
Anybody think of anything else? We good?
the only thing I can think of is, increasing the subsurface infiltration so that you can reduce the size of the rain garden and get a proper vegetative screen in front of the building. And I know that's not something you wanted to hear me say, but when I look at it, that looks like, to me, what would be the preferred solution. Because then you'd have the ability to actually plant an evergreen row or something in front of there. Because that rain garden is preventing you from doing really any kind of landscape screening of the building
Okay.
of any sort.
We have
Yeah,
this area along the slope.
I think if
Yeah, but I
they,
mean, what can you plant there, really? You think you can plant any white pines or things that would provide an adequate screening?
What do you
I don't
think?
know.
Good, but they'd be, obviously, it'd take a little lot longer to get up there. But
Well, and I'm afraid they would interfere with your drainage, right?
right.
I don't think that would work. I think you'd have a problem. Am I right or wrong on that? I'm not a soil,
Well, and
I
you're
think
gonna,
you-
you're gonna have an issue too, because you're gonna wall in your rain garden on two sides and gonna
Well,
limit.
as far as growth,
to
yeah.
Limit the growth,
Yeah,
right, but I
yeah,
mean,
yeah.
the rain garden's not gonna work.
Sure.
That's not the
Okay.
problem.
if you, I don't know proportionally what the square footage area of rain garden is to square footage of subsurface drainage. But if you increase the subsurface drainage and reduce the rain garden enough to be able to get a swath of land with the ability to put, a decent evergreen border in there, that would go a long ways towards softening this project.
Yeah, I like the idea of the rain garden in that, again, it provides visual
Well, yeah,
interest as opposed to just a row of
I
buffer
like rain
trees.
gardens too, but in this particular case,
Yeah.
it seems as though it's,
I think you can come up with, yeah.
you know better than I do, Stephanie. It's just,
I think it's like they have switchgrass and a lot of even though they're native, they're more ornamental. So the rain garden is more ornamental. You have the high growth shrubs kind of around the edges. And that's what you'd want to see in the front more too.
Yeah, are there shrubs, are there evergreen shrubs that would work in a rain garden of 6 or 8 foot high? Is there anything of that nature?
An evergreen, the inkberries are evergreen.
I was actually picturing, the path at sheep pasture that that goes along where the rhododendrons are like, it's almost like wet down there, yet all
It
those
is wet,
rhododendrons
yes,
still
it
grow so
is.
tall.
Because rhododendrons like it
Rhododendrons
wetter.
native?
Yeah, but those
No.
rhododendrons are about
I've been there.
80,
Yeah, I know.
125
Azaleas,
years
there
old.
are azaleas, though, they're like,
No, but no, it just occurred to me. I was wondering if actually, I didn't really think of rhododendrons as growing well in like
Oh, yeah,
in a wet
no, they
area.
grow
But
wet.
yeah, they do
Yeah.
like it. Azaleas, like
They're an invasive
swamp
species,
azaleas.
right?
Mhm.
Yeah.
well,
And the inkberries are evergreen.
Yeah, well, maybe that's a compromise, then maybe. How
And,
tall do the inkberries grow? How tall do they grow?
If you're not, they have miniatures, but they can 5 to 8 feet though, and you have witch hazel in here, which can get up
But
to.
then, right, but in terms of screening the building, all the stuff we're talking, it's the problem with rain gardens, one big heavy snow, or 1 year it all sits there, they're all gonna,
Well, I know, well,
And-
that was my original,
That's what I'm saying. So I think your point's well taken because there's no way to put any substantial size landscaping in front of the building in the current
so you
layout.
can't put a tree in a rain garden because it'll ruin the. Like,
Well, the root system will take
I'm not an expert
like
enough
a
to
large
answer that.
root
I mean,
system.
like a swamp maples grow pretty well in the swamp.
Cypress maybe.
Yeah, yeah. Red cedar trees grow well in the swamp. I mean, yeah.
You'd have to have a botanist to answer that, right?
No, well, I can tell them. I can
Well,
just- I can tell you
that's what
through-
their landscape architect is
Yeah.
supposed to
Yes, yeah.
come up with. I think explaining what you're trying to do, I understand what you're trying to do with the rain garden, but what you're trying to do with the landscaping
Okay.
is important.
Agreed.
I guess we could ask him if he's ever, like, anything that would provide more screening that that would still work.
Yeah,
Yeah,
on the edge of the rain garden.
yeah.
Yeah, because maybe we can bunch up, maybe push the rain garden just a little bit, but bunch up some of those.
I mean, I suppose if you put in a short length of retaining wall, you could make the grades work so that you could put an evergreen hedge in also.
I mean, the other
You know
thing,
what I mean? Because you've got, what do you have there? 1, 2, 3, 4 feet of, you do 2 rows of block by 60, 75 feet long, parallel to the street, you get enough room to put an evergreen hedge in also. So that would be another way of doing that.
What do you think the best place would be? Are you picturing the evergreen row along here, or
Yeah.
pushing that this way and having it on this side,
No, I would do it the opposite, just the way you first,
right here?
What's the purpose of an evergreen hedge?
visual screening.
I'm not, is
What's
it,
that, how?
No, when I say hedge, I mean,
Yeah.
a row of white pine trees,
Be-
something that, like, similar to what, between Doug King's property and the Eisenhower Drive.
Right, okay.
and when I wasn't thinking that you necessarily needed a hedge and it had to be a
Well,
barrier,
a
but
hedge
something
isn't
to
the right
break
term,
up
but-
the
Yeah, I
the
mean,
starkness of the building.
What would be nice, one thing you could do is, kind of a combination, because I get,
Yeah.
retaining walls are expensive, but, rain garden, so you're going for this natural feel, but look at it, it's this, and it looks like a swimming pool, right, the size, it's another rectangle. So why not, and all due respect, but so why not, in this part, where, right, hey, think of how the shape of the building, boy, what if we got a tree here and a tree, when I think hedge, I think a bunch of things right in a row, which, but if we went, boom, these diagonal sight lines, so if we went, in a group, whether it's groupings or whatever, trees, or,
Right.
whatever,
Sure.
and then, so, who says the rain garden has to be a 40 by 60 swimming pool,
Right.
right? Why, it could curve in a little bit and boom, you can put something there, and then, you make up that area you lose, you can, you bang it out over here and there's a little bit of a retaining wall, and then it ends up looking a little more natural.
That's right.
Versus, I mean, because it's kind of ironic, we're raising up, we're raising up the grade to create a rain garden, which I get at water tables, and so, you know, maybe we can make it look a little more natural.
And it doesn't have to be rectangular. It just
Right, well,
has
just,
to
and then, well, then,
perform.
and then, because then.
The math's so much easier when it's rectangular.
Because you know what, because what you want, you're not going to hide the building. The building's there, right? Regardless of whether it's attractive or not. I mean, that's all subjective. But if, as you're going by, there's whether a grouping. It doesn't have to be 8 pine trees in a row. If there could be a couple groupings of things.
Sure.
Maybe there could be, yeah, like you said, put up a swamp maple. There could be one big tree. Adds nice. Adds some nice fall color. And over here, there's some evergreen stuff, and then so just enough. Kind of fits in with what's in that area.
Yeah, I mean, I think that,
And you kind of want maintenance free. You don't want to. That's what always scares me with rain gardens. I think 10 years up the road, they're all going to be just
overgrown.
not taken care of. But I know it's owner occupied, so that's.
I think part of it is just that.
We won't have that issue here.
I think people have started to think of rain gardens as you have these, funny little native bushes that grow in there, and that's as far as the thinking ever goes. It doesn't go to think that other actual
actually
trees
has to be maintained.
it doesn't go to think that like a tree could actually grow in a rain garden, because I mean, if you look at some of these manuals, I mean, it gives lots of actual tree options, not just.
Weeping willows like wet feet.
No, right. I mean, we got red maple, white ash, green ash, red cedar,
Right.
swamp white oak, pin oak, red oak, eastern white cedar. It's the Vermont manual. I'm not sure if the.
I was going to say I didn't get all those
Vermont
names off the
maples.
schedule.
I'm not sure if the botanist would have for here in Easton, but up in Vermont they're okay. Sure.
Most of those that you just named are native.
Yeah. I skipped
As well.
rhododendron, which Vermont actually has in their manual. I skipped.
Well, it might be the scientific name of the azalea.
Yeah, we have no problem going back to the landscape architect. I think we definitely understand what he's saying. Trying to break it up a little bit out there, have a little more.
Yeah, I mean, you can just reshape it. You don't have to re-engineer the whole thing, but reshape it to get a buffer that'll be attractive and do kind of what everybody's saying. But I think we're really going to figure out, that whole part next door for all the reasons we brought up last time. That's pretty important. So, all right. Are we good?
I think so. Yeah.
So we'll continue. Want to continue to 28th, and if you don't make it, just call Stephanie, or do you want to go?
Yeah, let's do that.
Want a motion?
Sure. You say the 28th.
Yes, yes.
A motion to continue to the 28th of January.
Second.
Any further discussion? All those in favor? Motion
Vote on
passes.
this
Yep,
one.
and this one.
All right. All right. I am so up next. Thank you, gentlemen. Up next is a Weber Farm discussion, which I have to recuse myself. So I'll hand over the reins to Mr. Pete.
Thank you.
Turn that off. With that. I'm gonna leave it.
So two people vote on this, or well, Charlie can vote on this one, right?
They have to
Yeah.
come through
Yeah,
approval
we can all vote on
for
this.
each of the
On a bond
designs before
Okay, it's not
building
public,
permit.
so.
Oh,
Before the building.
Yeah, we should all be able to vote. Yeah.
Not the lot.
as long as,
Yeah. And we've been really good
as long
about
as that's
that.
on the record.
It is.
Thank you all.
Yeah. So, Stephanie,
Thank you.
Christopher can vote on this
Look at
because
this.
it's just a,
Yes.
yeah, I mean, it's a separate item from an actual
Right,
subdivision.
it's part of the condition of the, yes.
Okay.
I would guess so.
This looks like somebody's pen types that I recognize.
I know nothing,
Yeah.
I know nothing.
given these plans at a late hour in the afternoon.
Ooh, do we have site plan
Yeah.
for this too?
So, good evening. Alan Drunas, I'm here for Weber Farms, and I'm here for two reasons. One is to get this house plan approved for lot number 12, and I'm also here to get lot number 12 released from the covenant. So I guess we can start with the house. It's, we're using some of the board and batten.
Oh, we need to use the microphone, please.
Okay, yes, we're using some of the board and batten and some metal roofing as accents to kind of keep in sync with the homes that have been previously approved for the subdivision and are now under construction and looking good, I might add. So, so this will be the fourth different design that we're using. I don't know if we're going to do any more, but right now so we've got a good variety going on in there so that it doesn't look like a cookie cutter type of situation. And I guess beyond that, it's up to you guys.
I'm just always curious, and perhaps a builder or an architect have some opinion. But I mean, are people these days, they really like stay on the side of the home? They don't mind just one window on the whole side. I mean,
To be honest with you, I didn't look at the.
I'm not going to tell you to put extra windows on the ends, but
I don't know
I just wonder.
I don't know what that room is.
That's right here. There's
It's a
porch
bedroom?
there, right here. I don't know what's upstairs. Oh no, looks like a bedroom upstairs too.
Oh, living room, it's
Or
bathroom.
is this sort of like the
It's a
starting?
bathroom.
Yeah, or is it like the starting point, and then the people would
Actually,
say, "Oh, I want some
That
windows up
window's
there."
probably a little tall for behind the toilet, but
Yeah. Or is this like, the basic plan, and then when someone goes to actually, if you build it for
Probably-
them, they
probably
might say,
not
"I want some more
ideal.
windows."
Yeah,
I'm just
definitely.
wondering how that works. Yeah.
That's a good point, though. I can see
I don't know.
maybe a bedroom, a window going in the bedroom
that's right, we'll get
upstairs.
some shit when he gets back.
But as far as downstairs go, that bedroom downstairs
All right.
has a window in the back, and of course, the
Oh, yeah.
room in the front has windows towards the front, so that window is for the bathroom. So I could see a window being added
Yeah,
upstairs.
I'm not going to tell you to where to put all the windows. I just had a general question. Anyone have any comments or suggestions?
I think it looks good, looks good.
I like the front of it.
Yeah, I do too.
That's what's important.
Have you done, is that, that arc over the front door, does that protrude, or what does, you're gonna have some fun with the metal on that.
Yeah, that's something's
I
gonna have
know
to be
I've
done
done
there.
that before, and it's,
Yeah.
talk
Yeah.
to your roofer and see if he can do that.
Yeah, that might have to be open
Have some
for, you're gonna have to let us
You
give
can
it.
change it to copper now.
You could change the cover a little. Yeah, you're gonna give us a little, you're gonna have to give us a little latitude
How far
on
does that
one.
come out? Like maybe like
All
8
right,
inches
so
or
why
something?
is copper different
You can see it
than-
right here.
Well, see, this is, what he's showing is standing seam metal, and what he's doing is he's breaking that, and then he's
It's not.
curving it in
yeah.
the other direction, which is
So you
challenging.
can't really bend it like flashing, right? Because you're gonna like try to. Like,
Well,
like,
I mean,
you put-
he
well, I guess you
could,
do,
but
like,
he's gonna
flashing
end up
pieces
with
like
a,
that, right?
it's a tough detail.
Okay, yeah.
But with copper, it's sheet goods, so you're just
very
covering
easy
it
to-
over. It's almost like,
But it's not that much
Yeah.
copper, so if we had to,
Yeah.
yeah, if you have an
it's
armed
not-
guard on the job site when
Yeah.
you're putting it up,
right.
you know.
No, I agree. That's probably something that
You just make it affordable.
he's just
put some
trying to
rubber on
match.
there.
He's trying to match the door is what he's trying to do.
Yeah.
So
And the window above, yeah.
There's,
No one actually looks at that part of the roof. You could put like some rubber, some glue, and some
well,
rubber. And develop
well,
it
actually,
right
that's what I was gonna show. So there's a rubber, I'm trying to think who
colored
makes it.
rubber.
There's
colored
a
rubber.
rubber material that, it's an EDPM that comes in the, looks like metal, and they actually have glue-on ribs.
Really?
So it looks, so you can do curves like this with that material, and it looks
Good to
just
know.
like it. Actually, I did a building for Mashpee Wampanoag down in Mashpee, which was made to look like a turtle shell,
Yeah.
because that's their
Good to know.
animal, and
Yeah.
we used that material and come up
We're
with.
going to need some help on that one. I can see. I agree with you there. That's a little tough for a standing seam roof, but we did lot one with the standing seam roof, and that's the first one, and boy, it looks nice.
It's nice.
It really does look nice,
uh,
you know. So that's what we
I'm
got.
sorry, so it was way off target probably for planning board comments, but
That's why we're
Very
here, though.
interesting.
It's called design review, right?
yeah, right,
So-
right.
As long as no one says, I'm not going to say it right. That's the word. No. When a conversation goes to that way is what I'm saying. So, would anyone like to make a motion to approve the plans?
You want to make your first motion?
Sure, I'll make my motion to approve these plans. Do I have to say anything specific?
I'll second it.
All in favor?
No?
Okay, great.
Only
Thank you.
question I have, Al, you'll be
Do I have to
submitting.
say it formally in any way?
You're fine.
Okay.
Building permit?
Yeah, yeah, oh, yeah.
Suzanne
Every
makes
one of
us
them
all
gets.
Yes.
sound smart
Absolutely.
anyways when she writes up the meeting minutes.
Yeah, pardon? So when I get those emails.
Okay, so now we move on to the lot release. So presently, we have 6 lots released from covenant,
Have a copy of
and
that.
you're holding 8 lots. We're looking to get one more release. The roadway cost estimate that is the latest and up-to-date. With all the escalations, the 3-year escalation, it's 453,000. So you'll still have 7 lots left, which should be more than sufficient to cover that 453,000, we believe.
Did something get
Certainly
submitted?
incentivize us to come back.
You
and
don't
finish.
have a copy in your,
Oh, okay. I was
you
wondering.
you didn't send them,
Did
I
you-
mean, you didn't
Oh,
get
the
the
estimate,
board's
all right,
copy.
yeah.
Oh, I have, yeah, I'm
Okay.
familiar. I saw that earlier today. You don't have a copy of the road cost estimate.
Oh, no, right.
No, I didn't make more copies of that, but if you'd
Now,
like to.
on this,
So that's why Greg thought you were asking to release all the other lots.
No, just lot 12. You know,
And the lots are selling for sufficient to cover?
well, the first lot 1 sold for 730,000, the house, so we value the lot at 300.
Okay.
Yep.
yeah,
So
That's what I-
2 lots get you.
Little research today, and that does seem to be in
Yeah. I
think we have
line with
plenty
what
of lots.
lots are
You got
selling for.
plenty of money there, and we'll probably come back when we have a buyer for another one. But right now, we want to
Yep.
get this next design going because we sold one and try to keep 3 going all the time. So that's our intent.
So you're looking for a release on lot 12, is that right?
Lot 12 only, yep.
I just have a question on this report here. I see completes
see
here,
that?
but what about all the other?
This
the
is
other
not-
items? Oh, that's for something else.
That, yeah, this is not for
Oh, this
that.
isn't the
That's
wrong
for,
Wrong road.
Flip
yes.
around. There we go.
We did not distribute a road cost estimate because it was just the initial
You wish it
estimate.
was done as much as Emily Drive.
Oh,
is
right,
done.
yeah.
Exactly. Take that one.
Right, yeah.
Release all the lots.
You all set?
In that case. Anyone else? So we're looking to release the 1 lot?
I'll make a motion to release lot 12 as requested.
I'll
Is there a
second that motion.
So,
Chris did.
Chris second.
Okay.
All in favor?
Okay,
That's all.
great.
Thank you.
Thank you, gentlemen.
All right.
Okay, have a good night.
Thank you.
You too.
See ya.
So that was this, right?
Whose clipboard is that?
So,
Yeah, good question. We have a, Charlie, can you want to, Charlie, want to take a look at it? Or am I
Washington
wrong?
Street, so, yeah, they're here
Yeah,
for.
whose name is on there?
On what?
Oh, that notepad. Oh, okay, they left a while ago.
Yeah.
So that's David Hines, the applicant at Washington Street.
Right.
That's his,
Oh, that's
that's
his,
his.
He'll come back for it.
That's all.
Oh,
It might still be
Greg,
here.
Greg leaves them alive.
Oh, yeah, they left the tripod and everything.
Yeah. he leaves them.
still in the hallway, isn't he?
I think that's the sign-in.
do you want to get Emily and send the request for contact? Do you want to do that?
Well,
Is he still in the hallway?
oh,
Yeah, do
I think
Emily
they're gone.
first.
That's okay. Yeah.
Just me. You guys kicked me off last time?
We sent them away, told them to get a real architect.
Mr. Chair, may I suggest that we move the release of Emily Lane Extension before the chair report and the ZBA request for comments?
Sure. It'd be nice if he brought us coffee if we're gonna get special requests. Maybe next time.
That's really what.
I think you have the road cost estimates in front of you. The work has been completed and has been reviewed by our office and has been confirmed completed. So this is just a vote to release the remaining surety.
So your recommendation is that we release it?
Yes.
Any questions, board members?
What's the amount?
The remaining amount is $20,000. And the vote should be to release all remaining surety. And it is a private way, so it does not need to go to town meeting for acceptance.
Anybody care to make a motion?
I'll make a motion to release all the remaining surety.
Do I hear a second?
Charlie? No? I'll second it.
Any further discussion? Hearing none. All those in favor of releasing the amount in full? 5-0. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yep. Thank you. Wasn't that easy?
Good night.
All right. Meeting minutes. Let's get that out of the way. December 10th. One set, right? Monday, is December 10th. I didn't see anything.
Yeah, fine with me.
Okay. Anybody want to make a motion?
Motion to approve the minutes.
Second.
You're just voting to accept the minutes. You don't have to have been at the meeting.
Okay.
Give me, I'm just checking one thing. Okay. We had a second, right?
Yep.
And all those in favor? Motion passes. All right, so I wanted to reread something there quickly. Let's do the request for comments. First one, variance number 18-17, 177 Center Street. And I have an issue with this one.
I had a question on this one. So probably your issue and my
So-
question are the same.
Well, here's the thing. Their application states that they are looking for a variance. Let me, all right, so relief requested. The proposed addition would create a new nonconformity. The new nonconformity is the proposed addition on the north side of the structure, single-car garage with a second-floor livable heated space. The outside of the proposed structure would be 5.3 feet from the current property line, requiring 15 feet setback, which is why we are requesting a variance. The problem is that is correct, but they also
They're making it bigger.
violate the height bylaw on this. Now, the plan doesn't, I'll refer you to the architectural plans, they're not dimensioned, but, so knowing the code, right, the zoning bylaw that this board had voted in unanimously at town meeting several years back, for every foot that you encroach on the setback, you have to reduce the mean height of the structure. So in this case, it's 15 feet. I mean, the height is 25 feet. Would be deducting a little, let's just call it 10 feet, a little less than that. So it's, they could have a height here of 15 feet, give or take. Problem is, if you look at this, and that just refers to the section within that. Problem is, if you look at now I'm assuming, let's just say that the height to the top of the first floor, let's say it's 8 feet, right? And so even, it looks like it's about a 1 foot step down, maybe more, but let's just say it's 1 foot. So 1 foot from existing grade to top of foundation, right? And then structure, another, so 2 feet so I'm guessing that from the finished grade to top of your first floor is about 2 feet. Maybe it's 1.5 feet, whatever. Then let's say your first floor is 8 feet. So you're at, we'll say it's 9.5 feet, not even 10 feet. Then you have structure over that garage, so you have 10 inches, or just call it a foot. So you're at 8.5, you're at 10.5 feet. Then that window, top of that window is I'd say between 6 feet, 8 inches and 7 feet, because it's even with the existing, that's historically what you're gonna have there. So now we're at, what am I at, about 17.5 feet, right? And then if you look at it, that top of that window to the top of the eave on the right side, it looks like it's at least a couple feet. The point is, that cannot be higher than, 15 feet. So it's, and again, it's not dimensioned, so we can't tell. But, and my thought on this is, if you're looking at the site plan, looking at the design, there's ways this could be designed so it's within,
Well,
doesn't have to violate the setback.
Right, there's a,
I mean,
why,
it doesn't have to violate the height bylaw.
But now, along that line, but also just along the lines in general, I mean, the point here is that I don't know if every lot should get that kind of relief, as far as going so close to the property line, but in this case, it's next to an old, like, paper road that's never gonna get built upon, really.
Right, and that was where my question came in. Who owns the land that the paper road is
we
on?
do not know.
Okay,
It was, the deed went back to something like, was it 1911 or later? And,
so it's not part of the adjoining property?
we don't know.
Right now,
We don't
I
know,
mean, the way
without a
the-
title search
The
and
way
a
the
land
letter
court
was written,
yeah.
it was, we do not intend on building the road, but
But
then-
they don't
But then
have-
when
they
I look at
don't
the
own
plot
it.
plan, you know, and then they talk about
Or they
measuring
don't
to
know
the
whether-
center of the line of the road, but that land could be part of the neighboring property, and.
It could be part of the neighboring,
and then-
or it
and
could
then
have been.
In which case, they'd be, you know, impinging upon that neighbor's.
I mean, it really
development rights.
depends on who owned, you know, what part,
That's
what
what I
property
was
it
thinking.
belonged to begin with.
Right, so when I was looking, I was thinking, okay, if that road was part of their property or part of, then maybe it would make sense, but it doesn't appear that that is the case.
Yeah, and again, we don't know. The applicant has asked, and Suzanne has looked for any old records that we have, but again, if it was laid out in 1911, we wouldn't
Registry of
necessarily
Deeds
have.
should know, shouldn't they?
And
No?
then
Yeah, I mean,
depending
on
on,
the
the
assessor's
Well,
map, it's just shown as a
Right.
blank parcel with, I think, with no owner.
Right,
depending on the status of that, though, unconstructed way, if we knew a little more about it, you could argue that it would be a corner lot, and would have to have 25
I was
foot.
gonna say, if it's a constructed way, then,
Right.
yeah, then you have an even bigger setback.
Right, yeah.
I think one of the questions is, you know, Greg, you point out that they could do something, I mean, I understand that from a design standpoint, what they're designing, it looks attractive, it fits with, but certainly you could put an addition on the back of the house.
That's what I was thinking, or, you know, even the opposite. Who knows what the interior layout of the house is, but there's other options besides what they've chosen to do here, I believe.
Yeah, I mean, my thought was kind of, I mean, with what Peter said, I looked at it and said, okay, let's say that becomes a constructed way at some point, or let's just say, I doubt it. I think if it could have been, it would have been long ago.
Oh, right, yeah.
But, and so it's not right on top of anything. And I understand that the smaller lots there have, you know, we've recommended relief in the past. You know, because sometimes, you know, in here, you know, you could look and say, well, do they really need that door between that and the garage? I'm like, well, again, but, so if we were to support it, well, you know, I could see myself saying, okay, I'm okay with the reduced setback, but because there are, right, you could go to the back with this, there are different ways to design this. I do have issues, and again, it's not part, but you know, I do have issues with it violating the height bylaw, because it's the whole, we put a lot of work into that, and it was for small neighborhoods like this. And there are ways, looking at their plans, the floor plan, there's ways it could be reshaped with that footprint to work, still stay, you know, they've done a decent job, I think, of trying to keep it in scale and everything. But you know, anyway, so I'd hate to see it. I wouldn't support, and they're not asking for it here anyways. I don't know if they'd come back for a second variance, but I wouldn't support violating the height bylaw, because I think that.
No, I agree with that, because we worked hard on that.
Well, why have it, right?
Give it significant
Well, why
relief.
have anything, but we have a sideline.
No, but it's not like this is a
requirement.
hardship. You look what the septic is. There's other ways they could add
Oh, yeah.
on to here. So.
Well, then, do they need a variance? Then what would ever give someone a hardship for any sideline variance? I mean,
Yeah, I mean, maybe I should have said hardship.
I
but
mean,
just-
maybe in your mind, in every like building height situation is the same. I'm not saying it is, but and that's something that you feel strongly about. But for whatever reason, maybe I could feel just as strongly about the space on the side yard.
Oh, sure.
You
Oh,
know,
absolutely.
irrelevant of the height of the.
Yeah. Oh, did you
structure.
express that? I didn't.
No.
Okay, I didn't
No,
think you
no,
did. So
I'm just saying
I thought I was
that-
going along with it there.
No, right, yeah. Well, I'm just saying that I don't really see how the height bylaw could be such a more important like rule to never bend, whereas the side lot line has historically been bent, so it's okay.
No, I don't
Well,
think,
no, but
I don't
see,
think,
but
I don't think Greg was saying it
But
was
no,
more
yeah,
important. It was
but
just-
see, I think you're conflating. the height bylaw is sort of a byproduct of the side setback. You know what I mean? So so the side setback. If you're not infringing, if they weren't asking for relief for the side setback, then we wouldn't even be talking about. Well, potentially talking about the height bylaw. If they were trying to do an 80-story building, then we would. But
Yeah.
but you know what I'm saying? But the height bylaw, the one that we did, it has to do with scaling. It really has to do. It was set up for examples like this, the smaller lots where, you know, okay, if you only have one, there's only one place you can put that little addition, and the house is only X feet, and okay, they want a kitchen. It's not crazy, right? But it was to keep it in scale. But again, it doesn't. It's they're sort of tied together. I don't. It's to me they're not mutually exclusive. The height. Yeah. And I certainly wasn't trying to say that the height bylaw is more important than the setback.
Yeah.
But I think the height bylaw is a byproduct of the side setback.
I guess my point is that, you know, the height wouldn't concern me as much if, this were just some swampy conservation land along that side. Then I wouldn't really feel like we have to. Yeah, well, yeah, I know. Well, that could be some other factors.
Well, I just watched Stephanie's face when you said swampy conservation.
There could be some other factors there, but
I was
Just build right in it.
well, let's say
or other toxic
some woody
wasteland.
some conservation woodland. Now, I wouldn't really think that the height bylaw would really be that important in that case if there were just some conservation lands that's not used by the public in general, and they happen to border that.
Possible, but don't forget, and let's take this one out of it, because I don't want to, but the height bylaw, or any height bylaw, it's not just about how it affects its neighbors. It's, part of it, this was to work on the scales of buildings, at human scale, how things are viewed. If they were to take, let's say you have this house like this, and all of a sudden you want to put this big full story thing and full height wall, and you just put a big flat roof on it. And so part of it is trying to keep a neighborhood's aesthetic,
Yes.
Not with architectural detailing, but with building scale. But I think all setbacks probably relate to that to a degree.
I would have to say that even if this proposal conformed with the height bylaw, I would still probably not support it because it's creating a nonconformity where one doesn't currently exist. And without, in my mind, unnecessary. It's creating an unnecessary nonconformity. But I also agree that the height also is an issue there. So that's my take on it.
Okay, let's just send all that to them and let them decide. Okay.
No, so here.
I'd like to comment.
I'll give you an example, Chris. So this, just a teaching moment. So this is a variance. This variance we don't handle. This is handled by the Zoning Board of Appeals, but they send out requests for comment to pertinent boards, so to us. So we have few options here. We can do nothing. We don't have to do anything, and if they don't hear from us, no big deal. We can send a letter recommending, a letter against it. We recommend with, we're okay with this, but we have an issue with the height bylaw, and then that gets read into the record at the meeting. Or sometimes a member of this board will attend the meeting, or the planning director if it's big. So anyway, so with that, what is the board's privy? Do you guys?
Can I ask one question just on the height bylaw and how it works? So from the distance away from the property line, obviously I understand the height of the building changes. Is it from the point, like the distance from the property line is where the height's measured, or is it the entire structure's maximum height to where?
So it's average height. So average height. So mean height of the building. Let's just say this is a 10-foot high wall, and let's just say that the average, let's say from here to here is 8 feet.
Yep.
So the building height in that case is defined as 18 feet. So in our residential zones, our maximum building height is 25 feet with a real maximum of 35, which that's tied into the building code.
Yeah, I was reading that earlier.
We have side setback of 15 feet. So if you're on 15 feet, then
you're
good. Within it, But in this case, let's just call it 5 feet. They're looking for 10 feet of relief. So the way the code's written that, okay, for every foot that you encroach on that buffer, setback, you decrease your height by a foot.
When you say height, you mean from the maximum 18 feet height?
I'll call it the average height. So the building height, because that's how it's defined in our bylaw, but it really means the average height. So here they're encroaching 10 feet. So that 15 feet, so I'm sorry, that 25 feet becomes 15 feet.
Correct.
And that's just in regards to the section that, I mean, it graduates up. That's just into that section. So here, let's just call that, let's say that's 10 feet, that line right there. So, you know, like if this shed, what gets them, if this shed dormer wasn't there, I suspect they would probably be okay. I say that with an asterisk because there's no dimensions on this and it's not to scale, so I don't know.
Gotcha.
But what happens is this.
So it
this
is
big
relative to
blank
how
dormer.
close
It's not
you
even-
are.
It's not even a dormer. It's a two-story building with a rake
Right, exactly, yeah.
stapled to the front of the, I mean, it's not.
Right.
So it's
I'm laughing
relative.
because it's stapled.
It's relative to the distance from the property line.
Right, yeah. So, yes.
So that's why if you have a 12-pitch roof,
Right.
you can continue.
So, right, our zoning setbacks, you have to have you know,
Gotcha.
our front, sides, and rear in different zones in town, and for different types of zoning, have different distances. And when you go home this weekend and read that code book, you'll find that it's in there. So there's a nice chart.
And one last thing is that now wouldn't expanding the size of the home on a non-conforming lot usually require a special permit as well?
Yeah, because
Yeah,
you're
but
increasing the non,
But we didn't have that, but that wasn't here, right? Just the variance was. Maybe they're taking one step
maybe
at
you
a
Does
time.
didn't
it-
read,
does that
maybe you
require-
didn't read
Yeah, it
it.
does.
Yeah, I think you're
They
right.
do that all the time.
Yeah.
Even sometimes they try to increase it by just a small
I think,
amount.
in this case, they wanted to tackle the
I'm trying to
side
think how
setback
the
line
zoning
first.
enforcement official.
I think
Is it
that
a
they
special
didn't
permit?
qualify for a special permit, and they had to go for the variance.
So they don't have to.
Without the zoning bylaw in front of me, I
I
can't.
thought there usually be two separate things. There'd be a variance and there'd be a
I
special.
think it's one of the other.
The variance is for just the one thing, then the special permit, so maybe the variance covers the whole
No,
structure
the
once they do
zoning
that.
bylaw.
Is it normally a
I don't
special
know, I'd
permit?
have to read it.
See,
It's
sometimes it's a
something- there is
special,
Hold
but see,
on.
you know what? Sometimes it's a special permit. You're right, when they're not, but does the variance supersede, or is it in
No,
lieu
right,
of the
yeah.
special
Yeah,
permit?
possibly.
Because
I
I don't
think
remember
it's in
doing any
lieu of.
variances and special permits. I
I
remember
think
doing
it's-
special permits.
Only if
And I
there are
remember
two
doing
different
variances.
things. If there's,
Right,
if they're
but
on
for
the,
the same,
on the lot,
like
they're doing
increasing
two
the
things
footprint.
that,
Yeah, maybe.
right.
Or they're just taking this as the first step and then.
So,
Because you know what, and I don't think you're gonna find it in the, you're gonna find the bylaw, it's more interpretation by the building inspector.
Yeah,
or by
no,
the zoning.
it's in the bylaw.
Is it? Okay.
I'm pretty sure, yeah.
Or they just figure, oh man, they already have to, variance is plenty to pay. But
That's a good point, but I don't, think of all the times we do these, I don't, because you'd have two applications, and I don't remember.
I think they have been.
You think there have been?
Yeah,
Well, you're good on that.
but I could be wrong.
No, you're good on that whole paperwork, you're like a
So
paperwork
if it's a
savant.
non, if it's already, so the following types of changes to non-conforming use, that's for uses. That's a special permit. This is structure. Structure's non-conforming. What's permissible is the following circumstances shall not be deemed to increase the non-conforming nature of a structure. The reconstruction, extension, or alteration of the structure complies with the current setbacks and building height. The reconstruction, extension, or alterations to any side or face of a structure that does not comply with the current setback requirement, where the reconstruction, extension, or alteration will not result in a decrease in the distance between any lot line and the nearest point of the structure, or the reconstruction, extension, or alteration will not extend beyond the existing footprint of the structure, provided the structure will comply with the current building height requirements. So those are allowed without any kind of variance or a special permit. If the building commissioner determines the proposed alteration, extension, or change exceeds the one or more of the criteria set forth above, the zoning board of appeals may allow such alteration, extension, or change where it determines the proposed modification will not substantially be more detrimental than the existing non-conforming. Let's see. So, non-conforming, except in, let's see, non-conforming structures, the zoning may award a special permit to reconstruct, extend, alter, or change a non-conforming structure in accordance with this section only if it determines such reconstruction, extension, alteration shall not substantially be substantially more detrimental than the existing non-conforming, and those permissible changes are reconstructed, extended, or structurally changed, altered to provide for a substantially different purpose, or for the same purpose in a substantially different manner, or to a substantially greater extent. So that would be a special permit. Variances, as provided in 23 below, which is what I read previously, the reconstruction, extension, or structural change of a non-conforming structure in such a manner as to increase an existing nonconformity or create a new nonconformity shall require the issuance of a variance. So in this case, it would be a variance. You don't need a special permit and a variance.
So I go back to my original question.
We say,
What do we want to do?
I would think that you'd send a letter along to the appeals board to say that this is what we've noticed on the height and setback, and just tell them our observations and let them go with it.
Right, but so my question, so forget the height for a second. I mean, certainly, I'm going to notify them of that either way. But so on the set, what they've applied for, this variance setback, do we support that or not support that? Or I know Wayne's not, you're against that.
I do not support it.
Okay. Anybody else not support it?
I'm kind of like close to the line.
Yeah, me
on
too.
this.
So do you want to just do nothing? I mean, if you don't want, we don't have to vote on, if we're not, I mean, because I would say, I'm going to send them a letter just about the height anyways.
Let's say we have differing opinions.
I could say, we couldn't come to a I have no problem saying we couldn't come to a consensus on the variance setback if you do, but I do want to point out that, the height by, that they have not applied for a height bylaw, a height variance.
And then you get a case where, without this addition, it's a conforming lot.
Well,
Well, it's not.
No, it's not
Because it
conforming.
doesn't
It's
meet
too
lot
small.
area.
it doesn't have
Well, I
enough
mean
frontage.
conforming, like grandfathered conforming.
It's,
The building doesn't violate setbacks.
Right.
Say that.
So what you do is you're taking conformity, making it non-conforming, where now if they had a non-conforming lot to begin with, they need a little bit of relief. It's already non-conforming, so you're making it a little bit more non-conforming. Now you're making conforming non-conforming.
Right, but it's a non-conforming lot, which is how we have to define it, because it's under
because of lot
40,000.
area. But no, we're adding on to
And then
that. an
increasing the non-conformity,
Right,
absolutely.
right,
yeah.
that's interesting, yeah.
Yeah, and in this case, they have their own,
Need
they
150
need
on the
2
road.
variances,
issue. They've 40,000 square feet.
and they have only
Okay,
applied for
that
one.
as well.
And also
And the
150
distance.
on them.
Right.
So wouldn't the board want to at least
I think,
make that comment?
yeah, if I could just say, I'd like to hear why
Because of the age of
the
it.
board
Yep.
thinks that it's,
Non-conforming because of today's requirements.
that it's okay
Correct.
to reduce the side lot line to 5 feet.
When there were other options.
Yeah, because I don't, I
would
guess
say
I'm a
I-
little confused as to why,
Okay,
why people on the board would support
Sure,
that.
okay, well, I could say this, and again, part of, sometimes, sometimes when I personally vote, it's based, I learn from you guys. I look back, and absolutely, as I was reviewing this when I was in the hall, and I was like, well, they could, because you can see where the septic is. Sometimes they don't give us that information. So
Right.
this addition, what they're trying to do, they could do on the back. Now, that would ruin their egress from their rear bedroom, but you could put there's certainly, so if this board wanted to say we didn't support it, yeah, I could go along with that, because I understand, right, it wasn't like this is their only option. They have a very long lot. Why not, and you're talking
Be
to someone
creative,
here
yeah.
who my house was built in 1815, same exact thing, very long lot. I'm 15 feet off the property line, so when I added on, my house is very long and skinny because it had to fit the lot. And so so here, sure, they could do their garage, they could get everything they want going on the back of the house. So they might say, oh well, we want we ruin our kitchen view, we want to see our kitchen out the back.
Yeah, but
I'm
is
just
that
saying.
a reason to issue
Right, no, I understand.
Right,
That's my point.
You think about even going back for hundreds of years, even though so much has changed, the kind of the adherence to the side lot line is that's been a pretty that's really kind of remained this, the
Well,
same for a long time.
there's a
but
good
yeah.
reason
Yeah.
for side lot lines, for,
This
public
isn't just-
safety.
No, I think about that. Okay, I do that. And now I think about, say, one of those, the first friendly 40B on Washington Street, the apartments across from the field. Now, that building is
But that's a 40B.
is very
So,
large.
so,
It was a friendly 40B.
but
Yes.
nevertheless, nevertheless,
Yes.
it's
I think it depends who you
40B.
talk to.
Yeah. Yeah.
Right.
Friendly 40B.
My thing is, you're not asking just like, say it's supposed to be 15 feet, and you want to go like 13 feet or 12
Oh,
feet.
right, yeah.
Right, if it
We're
was a
taking,
foot or
taking a
two-
third of,
Or the guy
two-thirds
pours
of
the
it.
foundation in the wrong spot or something like
They're,
that.
they're,
yeah.
they're adding, they have 12 feet to work with legally, they're adding 22 feet, right? Yeah,
Right.
exactly. Yeah, no, I hear what you're
Well,
saying.
in this case, I have a feeling, I think that it's probably most likely that that road is never going to be claimed by anyone unless it's by,
Well, but, I mean, who's to say that that load doesn't go to the neighbor's property and the neighbor wants to build a garage within their legal rights on that property? Now all of a sudden they've got a house, now this neighbor is impinging upon that property owner's rights. And
well, they don't
we're
own it, though.
allowing
There's,
it.
there's no recorded owner, obviously, in the, I mean,
Well,
Well,
I mean,
the-
Easton
we
doesn't-
don't know that.
We
though.
haven't
We
done-
don't know that.
right.
yeah, Easton doesn't tax anybody.
Somebody owns it, or
Easton
somebody's
doesn't tax
gonna,
anybody,
Right.
so-
somebody's gonna chase it down at some point.
Right.
Yep.
So,
So
much as I'm
just
enjoying
gonna-
this.
So I'm just gonna keep asking the question, because I really think that the board should
sure, well, then why
oppose
don't you,
that.
then I think you should make a motion saying that, and let's see what happens.
I will do that. I'd like to make a motion to recommend to the zoning board of appeals to not approve the application because of the reduction in side lot lines and the building height of the addition.
second.
So you said you'd like to make a motion.
I am making a
He's
motion.
making a motion.
I'm making a
Here's a second. Okay, any further discussion? All right, hearing none, all those in favor of the motion on the floor? All those opposed?
I would abstain. Yeah.
Abstain. No, man.
I told you I was close. I didn't say yes, we should.
After all that. You've been watching Charlie too long. You learned-
We,
All
we
right.
needed,
So,
we needed a good ending to that, no matter what. Anyway.
Yeah, well,
So,
you know what, even if you
You
didn't
know,
abstain,
I mean,
the majority.
not that I want to, it's just,
So Suzanne and/or Stephanie, I would just like to, before we, when are they meeting on?
Tomorrow
Okay, so can
Tomorrow?
you,
night.
yeah, so can you shoot me something in the morning? Because I just did a real quick look at it, because I just want to add in my bit about the height, so.
Sure.
All
Yeah.
right, cool. And I will get right back to you, I promise. All right,
One more.
next one, next variance is for, where'd my agenda go?
doggy,
special
the
permit.
doggy
I know it's doggy daycare,
wagging tail.
appliance, application 1818.
You know what's funny is for some reason this like quarter mile of 138 is
It's
like
the
the
doggy-
mecca for
for
dog
dog
care
care.
services. It's just-
Well, figured that we had enough Dunkin'
Everybody's on, I
Donuts
think
and
it's
nail
because they're on their
places,
way to
right?
work.
Yeah, on the way to the highway,
I guess
on the
it
train,
must
right,
be
yeah.
Lloyd's attracts these things. Is
Sure.
that what it is? It's got to be Lloyd's Animal Hospital is bringing these other things. Because Great Scott's been there forever. So
And well, we
No,
go to one up there
I
called.
think it's because people are dropping their pets off on
you
the
think it's
way.
because they're going
Yeah.
to
On the way
138?
to,
Yeah.
no, the highway.
But
right,
I
yeah.
mean,
And
138
Lloyd's
is a long
probably-
stretch. Why is it this quarter mile of
right, yeah.
138?
I don't
That's all
know.
the dog services.
I don't know.
I guess they like competition.
Yeah, maybe.
Thinking Roach Brothers being right there, I kind of thought about that too. Maybe with the supermarket, it's sort of like just a convenient, because people know on the way
Maybe it
home
is.
they're going to be, yeah,
Maybe
yeah.
it is. Yeah, it was just. I mean,
The Town of Easton online permitting portal. I like that.
So in general, I mean, I think in the business zone, I'm not, this is in a business zone, so I'll be clear about that, but I know that some have been started to, been some applications, for in residential areas, and I really
This
have
does-
trouble with that. I mean, people have all these safeguards, but yet just to start allowing people to put like a kennel in any residential area, I think is going a little.
So
I'd much rather have a house right on my property line than a noisy, a nice dog kennel would be okay, but not a.
I had a concern about that. So they did, at one point in their letter, they talked as though the dogs were going to be inside, but then it goes on to explain that they are allowing groups of dogs outside.
Does it say how many total dogs?
It does somewhere in here. But one thing I noticed is they kind of throw out the bait of a acoustic fence,
Yeah.
but then they say, we don't think it's necessary.
Because they screen their dogs. The dogs have to go through an
Yeah.
exclusive.
But now the trick is
Screening
if you look
program.
at on the
So-
satellite view here, the one, the dog kennel that's like 2 lots down,
Home away from home.
that one has more woods. in
It's
the
buffered, yeah.
Yeah.
This doesn't have
Well,
houses.
there is
This one has house right behind
There is one core
it.
butter that
Who's that,
actually
Lloyd's,
abuts
Peter?
both
Yeah.
dog
This has two
kennels.
houses
Remember
right behind
Lloyd's?
it.
No, the other side.
No, this is
there's-
sort of like across from Roach Brothers.
It's
Yeah,
called
yeah,
Home
okay.
Away from Home.
Yeah, because Lloyd's is way back.
Right.
Yeah, no, that's
No,
that's
no, yeah,
different.
now they're sort of different.
All right, so are we for this or against it?
Well, I was going to suggest that we recommend the installation of the acoustic fence as a condition of approval.
Given its proximity to single-family homes.
I was gonna,
Yeah.
I was gonna suggest, some, maybe consider mitigate, like, have a discussion with the applicant and any concerned abutters about, mitigation of noise and other adverse
Kind of the
neighborhood
same
impacts.
thing.
Let the sort of the neighborhood sort of help guide it as well. I mean,
Yeah, but how do you do that in the variance? They're gonna look at it legally.
They're
just
getting
goes-
notification, right?
Right.
Right,
yeah,
I mean, they can go to the, oh, yeah, I see.
No, so if the neighbors, I mean, if,
So maybe we say acoustic fence and/or other mitigation?
Yeah.
Sound attenuating
sometimes I
mitigation?
feel like, if the neighbors are the ones that,
Yeah.
if they all get together and they don't want any more, dog kennels, then they'll probably.
Well, right, they got notification for the hearing, so.
What is an acoustic?
Okay, so why doesn't somebody make a motion on that?
Peter, want to do it? You want me to do it?
I'll make a motion
All right.
to write a letter to the Board of Appeals indicating that the board feels they should consider, the board and the applicant should consider, further mitigation of noise and other, possible adverse.
So you make a motion that we recommend, with the contingency that there's what defense you called it?
Acoustic fence.
Who's defense and/or other mitigation after discussing with the neighbors?
Sure. Yeah.
But just to, because I didn't hear in favor there, so I just wanted to.
Well, you didn't ask for a second. Are we doing
Right.
a discussion, or
Oh.
how are we doing this?
So so did you get that motion, roughly? Okay, is there a second?
I'll second that motion.
Woo, rookies on the board. Okay.
All right, so further conversation, I just, if we could include we recommend the installation of the acoustic fence.
Yeah.
All right.
Here's
Although
a
it was kind of,
acoustic fence.
right, it's about $30 a foot. I looked up the.
Running or square?
Running, linear foot. Linear foot, for 6 foot high.
This would also need to come before the board for site plan approval, right?
Right, but I don't know if we have the
If-
opportunity
if-
to do that at that point. We would.
Yeah, that's good to get it out
Why
there.
not?
That's fine.
Yeah, that's a good point.
I mean, you're concerned with the.
Or
health,
mitigation,
welfare.
such as an acoustical fence and, yeah, blah, blah, blah. Okay.
Because it seems like they have everything else covered pretty much. it
Right.
seems like.
That's a good point, I mean, because the difference is there's 2 houses right behind it.
And I mean, it is a business zone. There's a lot of other, uses
No,
that could be allowed
but
as of right.
Just
I mean,
imagine,
yeah.
sort of like where we were talking about
Yeah.
the gentleman before with his industrial
Yes,
building.
yeah,
Just
right.
try to.
That was a good call on Stephanie, because now the neighbors have a chance before the appeals board to voice their concerns.
Right.
And then if.
And site plan review, too.
If things don't
Yeah.
get done there, the way we'd like, comes back before us for site plan, and we have input.
Although they won't get notified for site.
Right, that's not a hearing. Site plan approval isn't a hearing, but,
Okay, so, sorry, I didn't mean that. You sound like you're going down, we gotta get out of here, she's going downhill quick.
yeah.
Did you get that, Suzanne?
Yes, but
Okay. No, right, but there was a second. Anybody in the audience? No, okay. All those in favor of the
Diane,
motion?
Diane. You got Diane.
5-0.
So we got some plans to sign.
No, we're not done. We still, now, chair's report. So I made a chair. No, no, we'll go quick. But just so you know, Stephanie and I got together prior to the holidays, and you know, sometimes we were just talking. What we're going to do, we're talking about some zoning stuff, but instead of trying to ram it through and just check it off, because we've got plenty of other things we wanted to do. Work on some of the rules and regs like we've been talking about, and so we're gonna discuss zoning, but we're not gonna necessarily really push anything for spring town meeting unless something comes up that we have to. Maybe we'll do something for fall town meeting. So what I'd like to do at our next meeting is come up with sort of and a lot of the stuff we're talking about, kind of, you know, whatever, the top 10 zoning initiatives we'd like to work on, and then come up with a prioritization list over the next couple of years. And then we'll dig right into those. So just give it a little thought. Some, you know, we've talked about just some stuff, and then we'll have a little jam session at the next meeting and come up with a list. But I said, so we're not going to do because I don't see a need unless after some discussion with the town administrator if we need to do something quickly in 5 corners. But I don't see any reason why we can't do anything in the fall instead. You know, I'd rather give it thought instead of having to scramble. And then we also talked about how. And we both agree, remember, you know, in the past we've used consultants like Judy Bear to help us with the zoning, and I think we both, you know, we definitely want to go back and do that, because I think that's just, you know, Stephanie has enough to do with this. She has a huge amount of items to do anyways, and that way, instead of us throwing all the ideas at her and her scrambling, you know, she can participate with us on it, and we can throw it all to a consultant, and, you know, I think it'll make it a more efficient, smoother process, right? All right, so I think we're good. Emily Lane, we got everything. Anything else? I know we have to sign some stuff, but. You all good, Stephanie?
Yes.
All right, want to bring us home? Sure. Mr. Benson, first time in 2019? Oh, hold on, excuse me, just for a second. I want to introduce our new member, I didn't even do this, to the town. Chris Anderson moved to town about a year ago, and got excited about Easton and wanted to get involved, and so we certainly welcome him. And we want to thank Dave Klimans, who I know has moved out of town recently, and that's why he had to resign from the board. But we want to thank him for his several years of participating. He was a good, active member, and we thank him for his time, and we look forward to our new member. So anyways, thank you.
All right, motion to adjourn?
Is there a second?
Second.
All those in favor? Motion passes. Thank you. All right, let's sign.